Turn this pile of free-ish of a byproduct from your butcher into liquid gold that has scads of uses, including a healthy butter substitute in cooking, deep fat frying with its high smoke point, and it can be made into soap and even candles, and used in skincare and balms and healing salves and around the homestead as a grease, for mechanical parts, and even to soften leather and season your cast iron pans. I've got about 5 pounds of trimmings from the butcher, a heavy pot to render the fat in, a sharp knife and cutting board to cut the meat off the scraps, a large spoon to stir as it's rendering, and a small colander just to skim off the foam, and cracklings towards the end. I want to get all of the little meat bits and everything I can, all the impurities, off of this and cut it into small pieces before I put it into the pot. Because what I really want is just this white suet kind of fat. Tallow is loaded with vitamins A, D, E, and K, and is high in amino acids and the good monounsaturated fats. Tallow has high concentrations of conjugated linoleic acids and is high energy brain food and has anti-inflammatory properties. What I'm left with is the meat that I separated, and I've got this huge stock pot full of the good stuff that I want to render down. I'm going to add a cup of water to this just to prevent the initial heating of it from browning any of that, because that will leave more of a beefy taste to my tallow. So I'm going to turn this on extremely low heat in order to start rendering, and it's going to take several hours, probably at least 2, if not more. If you're interested in saving money and becoming more self-sufficient, please like this video and subscribe so that you'll be notified when I show you how to turn this tallow into soap and candles. Tallow has a long shelf life, even if left unrefrigerated, up to a year, maybe longer if you freeze it. I'll keep some at room temperature and the rest in the freezer, taking out a bar at a time as needed. My beef fat has been rendering for just a few minutes over 2 hours. You can see that I am getting some of the fat rendered out. There's still quite a bit left to be rendered. We're now at 3 hours. Here we are, 4 hours into the rendering. I have been rendering this fat for 6.5 hours. I'm going to give it another half hour or so while I brown some soup bones to be able to reuse this pot instead of cleaning it to make some beef stock. So I'm going to call that good and get that fat skimmed off. I'm just going to spoon all of this out and get rid of it. I think I've gotten what I'm going to get out of it. And then I am going to strain the liquid. The stovetop is off so that I can start thinking about passing that through some cheesecloth to filter all those bits out. This is what I spooned off, strained out. I've got some cheesecloth sort of doubled over in a colander, and I'm going to see if I can not dump this and get it strained and into my foil-lined pan so that I get rid of all those bits. And I may just try to not even pour a lot of that out and let it settle. All right, I'm just going to leave that bit in there. The reason I am putting it in a foil-lined pan flat like this instead of in jars straight away is so that I can make bars out of it to freeze instead of having to dig it out of a huge jar. So I'm just going to let that cool for a while now. My tallow has solidified and I've got it cut into bars, and I'm going to get it wrapped in plastic and into freezer bags. And one of those bars is going into my jar to go on the countertop. 1 jar to keep on the counter for use now, and 11 bars to put in the freezer for later. I have individually wrapped them in plastic just to reduce the potential for freezer burn. But this way I can also separate them and get one out at a time as I need it. Put those in a gallon freezer bag. That should last me quite a long time. Watch this video to find out more simple steps you can take for beginning your own urban homestead.